But just like the rooster crows every day to break the dawn, we can rely just as much on the Berrics providing the drama. And Steve Berra is located in the epicenter. Hello, and thank you for joining another episode of Dumb Data, where we break down the numbers so you don't have to. In this breakdown, we'll take a look at the Battle at the Berrics 12 Round 1 match between two Arizona natives, Dashawn Jordan and Jagger Eaton. What numbers are worth crunching in this flat ground battle between two contest vets? Let's take a look and dive into some data. The players. Immediately evident is the relative decline in hype around this battle compared to the wild and rowdy game between P-Rod and Nyjah 15 days prior. Jagger and Dashawn are younger, fresher faces in the pro contest circuit. In fact, it's been a mere 3.5 years since Jagger really made a name for himself in the street contest scene, where he and his tragically adorned Red Bull beanie earned a first place finish at the 2018 Tampa Pro Contest. Dashawn is no stranger to competing at the highest level either, and his upward trajectory in successful contest skating includes victory highlights at the 2016 Tampa Am, 2017 SLS Chicago, and the USA National Championship Street Finals. But what about the whole reason we're here for this gathering? How good are these dudes at flatground? Death blow video. I've seen people dissect the whole pivot on a 360 trick and argue that it shouldn't count.
And on Cody's, he slides it around. So realistically, this should have been the end of the game right here.
I disagree.
Or at least a do-over.
If the way I looked at these switchbacks at 360s, Carlos had less than 90 to go and Cody had a little more than 90 to go, to be fair. I think it's just like, yeah, I don't know. We need the whole tennis or football technology where you measure like, oh my God, you need to be within 15 degrees of Carlos Switchback 3. I think that's a little crazy.
Personally, I don't really care, but if you can pivot and roll away without tic-tacking, you technically rotated the required distance, and I'd argue it's fine even on offense. However, if you're going to claim a death blow, the trick that's supposed to be your strongest and eliminate your opponent in the battle, this is where I agree with the no revert purists. Jagger's switch backside 360 here is for sure a 270 with the last 90 degrees sliding on his wheels to complete the full circle. If you're saying that this will be your trick that will take you to the next round in a flat ground competition, I'm already sus about how deep Jagger's bag is. Flat ground skateboarding demands a certain standard of excellence for those who advance in this type of competition. When you declare a switch backside 360 as a death blow, it should be because you know how to do it as well as Walker Ryan or Eric Koston, or hell, even Trent McClung, who at least pops it to divert your attention from the lack of a full rotation. Jagger's pop here leaves a lot to be desired, so this switch backside 360 is just a mess from the beginning. Dashawn's bigger flip, which he admits himself, is more of a circus trick.
It's just like one of those circus tricks where it's like, oh, you know, that person might have it.
Your board is spinning 540 degrees with the tray flip and backside 180 parameters, while also flipping a full rotation to account for the kick flip. And your body's turning 180 degrees. Add that all up and there's 1080 degrees of happening at the same time. Even if you didn't know that Dashawn previously competed in Battle at the Berrics 9 and did fairly well before losing a tight match against 2020 Sodi Mason Silva, a bigger flip on command compared to a low pop switch backside 270 revert is a bit of a dead giveaway that this match is starting off unbalanced. Before we move on from the death blow video, there's one more comment about the overall mentality of Jagger versus Dashawn. The discipline of skating competitively on flat is highly volatile. Battles can sometimes go sideways for the forecasted winner, and the simplest tricks can suddenly betray you when you need them the most. One of the many unspoken rules of a game of skate, unless you're with your closest homies, is that you don't plan on winning due to the aforementioned volatile nature of skating flat ground. For Jagger Eaton to preface his battle by saying he's trying to win against Dashawn,
I never go into any challenge thinking I'm going to lose, so obviously I'm going to go to win.
Who is much more humble and I'd argue more in tune with the culture of flat ground skating.
I could miss everything. I could miss that kickflip. I could miss that pop shove. So it's like, I don't know. We'll see. You know what I mean? Like, only the game will tell, only time will tell. So we'll just go out and skate, play a game of skate, and then see who comes out on top.
Is the second strike against Jagger before we even start. For what it's worth, Jagger does save himself a little bit of face when he admits he'll need some divine intervention to beat Dashawn.
But on flat ground, I'm gonna need a miracle.
Rochambeau. Before we even get to the sloppy game of rock, paper, scissors, there's some body language cues that foreshadow the expected outcome of this battle. We've got Dashawn on our left, casually leaning on his board with one leg crossed over the other, like he's just chilling with the squad during a session, rocking the same pair of Nike SB Dunks as Koston. Then we've got the Cariuma and Red Bull billboard on our right, in the form of Jagger Eaton, who can't quite commit to putting his hands all the way into his pockets and reminds us for the second time that he's known Dashawn since he was 6.
I met him when I was 6.
That's close.
I've known Dashawn since I was 6 years old.
Barely 30 seconds of the vid go by before Steve Berra interrupts Koston about the impossible rule.
Guys,
Forget the impossible rule.
what's the impossible? Wait.
You wrap your impossible.
Oh, you wrap your impossible. Now we gotta write that down.
I like that.
Hold on, let me get.
I like that a lot.
Okay, if your opponent wraps his impossible, you have to wrap your impossible.
Which will come into play later. Finally, we get to the Rochambeau.
Oh, wait. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay.
12 years into this competition, and you'd think we could have a smoother process of getting through the rock, paper, scissors. Dashawn, Koston, and Jagger fumble through the Rochambeau, and Dashawn gets to start the battle. The beginning. Dashawn starts with what I would consider the most respectable first trick of a game of skate. A frontside shove it is not the easiest trick you could choose to start a game, but it's easy enough that anyone who's playing flat ground skate should be able to land. And if you don't land a frontside shove it on defense, it's not that big of a deal because it's less embarrassing than if you missed a regular pop shove it. I want to take a moment to point out the absolute perfection of Jagger's switch pop shove it on defense. Switch pop shove its don't cause too many issues for Battle at the Berrics skaters. In fact, ironically, Dashawn is the only skater to get letter A on a switch shove. No one's gotten more than letter K from that trick. They're not an inherently good-looking trick. And all the backlash against Jagger's style aside, he stomps the out of this switch shove and lands bolts. We've made our way through a pretty vanilla game of skate so far, until the first letter. The second tray flip variation of the game is the hardest of the 4 main trays, when Dashawn's switch 3 flip delivers Jagger his first letter in Battle at the Berrics. Jagger joins 13 fellow skaters who've received the letter S on a switch tray flip, including Chico Brenes, Heath Kirchart, Johnny Geiger, and Mickey Papa. The turnover. Whether it was by some Battle at the Berrics curse, or the fact that Dashawn has a weak spot with the trick, Dashawn's first failed attempt in this battle would be the same trick that gave him letter E from Mason Silva, the nollie tray flip. Jagger Eaton now gets a shot at doing some damage, and I applaud him for keeping it tame with a fakey kickflip on his first offensive turn. But just like the rooster crows every day to break the dawn, we can rely just as much on the Berrics providing the drama. And Steve Berra is located in the epicenter. Jagger does what the Berrics is calling an impossible, which confusingly obligates Dashawn to wrap the trick when he should be cleared to just do a 3 shove. Since it was specified before the battle that an impossible needs to be wrapped on defense if offense wrapped.
Your opponent wraps his impossible, you have to wrap your impossible.
Let's be honest, this is not wrapped. And I'm fairly confident that if we asked for Koston's candor on the subject, he might simply refer us to his own impossibles, where he clearly wraps his foot. So this is an issue that might need more oversight in Battle at the Berrics, because if Dashawn is matched up against someone who poses an actual threat, this letter should be redacted and Dashawn should be allowed to attempt a relatively easier 360 shove it. The writing on the wall. Directly following the impossible snafu, Jagger exposes how shallow his trick bag is by missing a somewhat ambitious switch backside flip. One of Jagger's signature contest tricks is the backside flip nose grind. Why not throw down a regular backside flip before trying its switch? Either way, Dashawn's back in the driver's seat and reveals to the internet that Jagger needs to spend more time on the tray variations by giving him the next 2 letters with a fakie tray and a nollie tray. Jagger puts up a bit of a fight on defense until a varial heel comes along and he over-rotates it to get letter T. Finish him. Staying true to being a genuine flatground competitor, Dashawn goes for a different death blow than what he previously indicated, but to be fair, he did say probably to keep us guessing.
Death blow trick would probably be bigger flip.
Instead of a bigger flip, Dashawn's big heel results in a turnover, which may or may not have been caused by Steve Berra's distracting commentary. Jagger throws away his last chance to put any further dents in Dashawn's armor when he foolishly tries the switch backside flip again. Deciding he's had enough of this anticlimactic battle, Dashawn lands a bigger flip so casually you'd have thought he simply did a backside 180. Look at how relaxed his right arm is when he lands. That's the body language equivalent of MJ shooting free throws with his eyes closed. Jagger actually isn't that far off on his first attempt, even though he's going 0 miles per hour, but the trick proves to be too much for him when he misses on the last try. With what I can only hope is sincere good sportsmanship, Jagger pays respect to Dashawn with a high five and the ceremonial bro hug that signifies the end of the battle. Consistency. Jagger's consistency in his first battle at the Berrics match was 70.37%, landing 19 of the 27 tricks attempted. Before this match, Dashawn's consistency rate at landing tricks in battle at the Berrics was 81.13%. After his win against Jagger, Dashawn's rate improved to an impressive 83.54%, landing 66 of the 79 tricks he's ever attempted, and skyrocketing him up the rankings to the 4th most consecutive Battle at the Berrics skater of all time, shadowed only by Luan Oliveira, PJ Ladd, and Chris Joslin. What's next for Dashawn? Dashawn now has to skate against Cody Cepeda in round 2. You don't need to research much further than doing a very quick Battle at the Berrics resume comparison to show that Cody looks like a strong candidate for making it to round 3. I enjoy both these guys skating and would love to see Dashawn with an upset, especially given his commanding win over Jagger, but it'll be tough to beat Cody. Well, that pretty much covers the breakdown for the Battle at the Berrics 12 round 1 match between Dashawn Jordan and Jagger Eaton. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to Dumb Data, click the notification bell to stay on top of new episodes, and drop a like if you enjoyed this breakdown. See you on the next Dumb episode.